We're here at the Australian National Botanic Gardens. It's May 2013 and we're here for the Caring for Country Seed Production Workshop. There's a diverse group of people, over 50 people, who will be attending today, and it's a fantastic opportunity to review what we've done in the project and also to get input from all the people involved in similar work. Private landholders, people from resource management areas and from diverse geographical parts of the country as well. So it's a fantastic opportunity to get these people together and to look at what we can do, not just for this project, but beyond the project.
Hello everybody, I'm Judy West, the Director of the Botanic Gardens here and also a branch head in Parks Australia. Just wanted to welcome everybody to the workshop today. Obviously, fantastic range of people here, and I don't mean the range of individuals, and skills and expertise that we've brought together, which is, I think, going to be very productive for the day. And thank you all very much for coming.
Greening Australia, as the practitioners, got together with ANBG, who are really good at growing, knowing how to grow things and have some really good infrastructure, and then also CSIRO that can really put behind the scenes that really meaty science about the genetics. So the three organisations got together and we came up with this project, and the talks today are really going to summarise where we are up to with it.
Those of you that don't know me, I'm a research scientist at CSIRO. I've been there for 12 years now, I think. And I'm basically interested in the genetics of improving management for conservation restoration of rare and common species. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so no surprises to this audience is that, you know, we've really changed the face of Australian vegetation since European settlement. So we've lost a lot of genetic diversity out of our environment that we cannot recover. It's impossible, it's gone. Okay, so there are genes that are lost that we won't ever know about. The loss of genetic diversity has two really important implications for restoration, in that it can cause low seed set in populations, and it can also cause poor quality seedling. So, and SPAs, so seed production areas, are one of the solutions towards that goal.
Groups like Stiper have been doing great work for a long time, trying to raise our understanding of the use of native grasses in our agricultural systems. It's either fodder crops or for soil protection and stabilisation. So, you know, I think we've got the data to suggest now that not only can we restore grassy swards, we can also restore complex swards. Now, the transition to seed is that there isn't much of this left in the landscape, so in doing this we don't want to destroy what's out there. That's quite critical. So again, this has continued to draw us towards the use of seed. The seed's not out there in the landscape for a whole range of reasons. We've got to go to seed production. So in essence, that's where we sort of find ourselves at the moment.
I'm going to talk briefly, and very briefly, just about the importance of seed quality and germination issues. And in actual fact, the talk probably should have been titled, "If you don't know what you've got, you're wasting your time." Because really, if you don't know the quality of your seed, then really you are wasting your time. You don't know what you're sowing, you don't know what you're going to end up with in terms, and it affects your overall production.
I'm Marianne Smith. I work with Orange City Council in their constructed wetlands. So what I'm here today to learn about is seed production areas, so I can take it back to my local council and hopefully push for them to take part in a project where they may be able to set up some seed production areas for local provenance in the tablelands that we can use when we revegetate sites around the district.
My background is in environmental science, and I have a passion for seed, so I've been to quite a lot of seed workshops, and I know in our area lack of good quality seed is a big problem, so anything I can take back to my community and share information with I feel is quite worthwhile, and it also helps with my classes at TAFE because I teach revegetation.
Essentially in the landscape, grasslands and all these sort of species associated with them, they're almost gone. And so if we want to restore those communities, we don't want to be going out there and trampling on them and introducing weeds and putting more pressure than what's already there on them. So we take small amounts of seed from those things, not enough to hurt them. We take them to somewhere like here and we grow them in like a crop. And so essentially seed production is really probably going to be the only way that we're really then going to go back into the landscape and create new populations. There's a lot of goodwill, there's a lot of enthusiasm, so really now we need a market for the restoration. We need people to say the environment and restoration is critical to us, so we will give that the support, because unfortunately the sad reality is as much as we get excited about it, it costs money, it takes time. A lot can be done with volunteerism and things like that and goodwill, but ultimately it takes support. Unfortunately, at a budgetary level, because there are so many constraints on society, we want healthcare, we want good roads, we want all those sort of other things. The cost of restoring the environment, like anything, is actually quite high. Unfortunately, this is like a new industry. We're at the start. We're learning how to do all this sort of stuff. We're learning how to grow them, to set up production facilities, and then how to manage them. And unfortunately, like any new industry, it's more expensive. The more we do, the bigger we get, the better infrastructure, the better knowledge, the price will come down. So is there a market? My fear is at the moment it's not enough to drive us to the big scale, but I would love to be proved wrong.
Well, my name is Isabel Jurassic and I've got a 600-acre property in Murray-Bateman. I'm in the higher country area, the sort of predominantly native pasture, hilly country. And I run a commercial Angus breeding operation, and I also have got a fairly close relationship with Greening Australia, and I have a seed production area which I established a couple of years ago. Conservation has been a lifelong passion for me, and it's our way of giving something back to the environment and balancing that with the needs of being a commercial farmer. In my opinion, to be a successful farmer and somebody that's going to have a resilient property for the future, you've got to cast your thoughts into ways that you can protect the landscape. What I'm hoping to achieve, because you're only a land manager or you're only an owner of the land for a very small part of the land's history, I want to leave the land in better condition than what I actually purchased it.
You probably wonder why Canberra Airport's represented here, and that we've got natural timber grassland in fauna associated with that, the Australians and golden sunlight, and we've been there 15 years as a private sector. We're owned by a local family, and we have a number of things that we do differently to other people in the private sector, I guess.
I think it goes back to the drive from the owners. They're interested in producing an airport that's high quality and is sympathetic with where it's been in the past, and that in the built environment we're leaders in Green Star buildings and energy conservation and so on, water conservation, and it's a natural extension to the grassland. If we're going to disturb it, then we should try and reinstate it rather than just take the soft option and go and buy some grassland elsewhere. In our water, we harvest rainwater and recycle it. We have a black water treatment plant that is problematic, but we're getting there with it, and so we'll be recycling when we get that bedded down. It's costing us money, but at the same time, we should get a commercial return out of it in the long term. The airport owners are very happy to share it, and we've told Greening Australia, I'm very pleased and hopeful that it's going to work. In fact, I'm certain it's going to work, and we believe that'll then give Greening Australia the opportunity to work with other people, because they actually have a method to deliver natural temperate grassland.
These gardens were developed actually as a sort of scientific gardens, much more than most other. And I mentioned today that all of our plants growing in the garden have a voucher specimen in the herbarium, so that's that sort of scientific credibility of the material that's growing in the garden. So I think the benefits across all is that you've brought together a whole range of people that have different levels of knowledge, different skills in their own area, and then trying to bring those together. as you might imagine, maintaining the gardens as to what people want to come and visit. You know, the visitor wants to see Australian native plants growing here. As you know, probably we grow about 1/3 of Australia's flora in these botanic gardens, which is pretty significant. So we've got to maintain those in a fashion that we don't have weeds and we have the plants looking healthy, as well as try to do balancing that with trying to do a conservation project. So the linkage of having the records is people. Most people do keep reasonable records, but recording it at the time is important of what the species the community is sitting in. You know, a lot of people say they don't know what Eucalyptus X is that's growing with it, but to say it's a eucalypt is better than nothing. And so that information's there. The detailed stuff of the time they collected it and the date, and exactly where. And then that's used in databases. You can use that now, and much more because we brought all this data together across Australia. It means that we can use it for predictive purposes.
Thank you all for coming today. It's been a great day. Let's make sure we keep in touch.